Hi everybody, welcome to my channel for a new battle report on Warhall. First of all, thanks to Scrag for accepting to play this practice game against me. I wanted to get some extra training against Vermin before the WTC with my WTC list. So I was really happy that he was okay to play against me and to try some Vermin Swarm type of list that I wanted to face, basically to see how it goes. So my list is the list that you already know. And this is my opponent's list. So he was playing an Adept Occultism Ruinous Dictator as a general. Then he had only a second Adept, but that was it. So very light magical setup if you compare to most of the Vermin Swarm list. He had an Adept Witchcraft with the Crystal Ball, the Toga to have stand behind in the unit. And then he had a Bloodthrow with obviously the Doomblade, which is in most of the list at the moment because, I mean, it's so good for the points that you pay. So not too many characters. I think we are not used to have so few characters in Vermin Swarm list, but then you will see he has more units than most Vermin Swarm have. So he has a unit of 49 veterans with a Flaming Standard, I guess, to be good against regen with the Doomblade. In some matchup it can matter. 43 legionnaires with the ambush banner, 41 slaves, 11 fetis, 9 fetis, 6 murmillo brutes with halberd, eagle standard. So as you can see, he has as well some eagle standard. I guess it's in case the dictator dies, the game is not over for him. He still can rely a little bit on the eagle standard to hold some combat. 10 stalkers with strong weapon, drill team and double arena beast. So a couple of things that were new for me. I didn't face the Doomblade yet, so I was curious to see how I could manage that, first of all. And then second point was the tunnel, basically. I didn't face a list with tunnel in my 2 games against Vermin Swarm since the book came out, so I was really eager to see a little bit what are the possibilities given by the tunnels. Interestingly, I think Arena Beast are in most of the list because it covers one of the weaknesses of the list, being having some flexible unit with good lateral movement to cover the flanks. And they are quite cheap for what they do. I propose him to play Spoil of War because I thought the combination of being able to ambush on spoils might be quite interesting, so I wanted to see what was the potential of that combo. And also it was, as I do in most of my training, I either play All the Ground or Spoil of War because it's one of these secondaries that force you or encourage you to engage in combat, and that's the best way to really try out the matchup and see how it goes. So I think if you play a training, I could only recommend you to choose carefully what type of deployment you want to try, because if you just take like Dawn Assault with flags, it could be boring and then you didn't learn much from the training, which is not the point. And then we rolled randomly for deployment. We got a Refuse Flank, which is always interesting because it's quite an aggressive type of deployment. You're quite close to each other, so definitely quite interesting. Regarding spell selection, not usual for me. I didn't pick Wrath of God. Basically, if you check his list, he has so many life points in the unit that Wrath of God wouldn't hurt him so much. It could also, at some point, be annoying for me if I want to engage and I'm too close from the Wrath of God. So I decided, rather than that, to go for End of Even, Trial Face, have 2 very good spells against Arena Beast and Dictator. I thought that could be my prime target with range damage. With shooting and these 2 spells, I think it's a good combination. And then my usual spell selection for having as much buff for close combat as I can, meaning the Smite, Hereditary and Rod. I could have picked some Breast Weapon instead of one of those 2, but I felt if the game is standoff-ish at the beginning, it might be difficult to really take advantage from the Breast Weapon, and then I have only one spell that he must dispel from range, which is not something I like. His spell selection, so he has only 4 spells. Basically, he has no range damage at all. He didn't pick any. He picked Rot Within, which is quite good against the Ogres, especially in combination with Deceptive Glamour. But I think it's even better when you have high offensive or defensive skill, which is not really the case here. So it changed a little bit, can make harder for me. Mostly it can make easier for him to hit me. So it's not that impactful that it can be for armies that have access to, for example, off def 5, because then you can easily reduce the Ogre to off def 1, and then it makes hitting on 2s and hitting me as an Ogre on 5, which change a lot. So I think in this case I wasn't too worried by the buffs he had access to. He took the ward save as well. And then the Twisted Effigy, which is always a very annoying spell for the Merc Vets, but now that I have MR3, can be a bit harder to cast against me. Matchup analysis. So he has a very fighty Vermin Swarm list that needs to fight to get points. He has almost no range damage, which is not so usual for Vermin Swarm, so he needs to come and get some combat to win the game. Tunnel, I didn't know exactly what was the potential of chaffing with the tunnel. I didn't really realize exactly what he could do with his tunnel. Maybe I didn't pay enough attention, but my thought process was, looks like he can come out 3 inch outside of the tunnel, and then he has to be within march rate. So I guess it can chaff up to 10 from a tunnel, which is quite far for a Vermin Swarm list, so I think it improves massively the chaffing abilities. Spoil of War and Doomblade, so I think that was a combination where I wanted to and I think overall the Ogre can in most of the match against VS want to force him to play wide, because the general cannot be everywhere, so I think it's also a way to try to attack the flank and get some points, and I think that would be more to my advantage that if we play quite compact and just facing each other basically. So I wanted to put some space, because if you check the Doomblade, which unit can he hurt the most? I think mostly the Tuskers, and then also he can go in a 1-1 fight against my Great Khan to try to kill my general basically. That's the true prime target, so I thought if I put some space between the Great Khan unit and the Tuskers, he will have to make a choice, and that's basically one of the key strategies. If you play against a model that you struggle to deal with, which is the case here because he's hidden within a unit, not so easy to snipe. I need to be within 18 and get some luck, so it's not so easy to deal with him because he's just too good for close combat. Then I need to force him to make choice, and if he struggles to make the right choice, he might lose time, and if he does that during this time, I might be able to kill some other stuff basically. Targets, yeah, for my range damage, Dictator, Arena, I would say prime target are definitely the Arena Beast to give me some breathing space on the flanks, and then also apply some pressure on the Dictator with Poison Shot is never a bad idea, because if we would be close to dying, yeah, it could definitely influence some close combat. I have some fear causing unit, meaning if you have to take like a 5 minimized steadfast check, not so easy. Yeah, the fact that he has not so many combat buff is not usual. He has more fighty stuff on the table, and you will see the deployment picture is scary. He has so many units on the table, and big unit with a lot of health point. But in exchange for that, I was not too afraid in engaging against the unit, because you know what to expect. The main issue sometimes when you face units that you know you're going to be stuck in combat for a while is, you know that when you charge, you know in which term you fight, because basically you charge, you know what buffs are or debuffs are on, and then what spell you might get, first point. But then if you get stuck in combat, you don't know which kind of buffs and debuffs the opponent can get on his turn, which can change completely the outcome of the battle basically. So the fact here that he hasn't so many buffs that have a huge impact meant I wasn't too scary in engaging against units where I might be stuck multiple turns. My estimation, I didn't know exactly what to expect, to be honest with you. It's very fighty, has a lot of units, quite scary on paper. Spoil of War, he has the tunnel abilities to chaff, so I didn't know if he would be more standoff or if he would be able to be aggressive. I would also, since it's training, most of the time I try also to open the game slightly more. Like I used to say, I try to adapt a little bit my risk approach in training games to just try to force to have a bit more action, because that's the way I can learn the most about the matchup, but without doing obviously some too stupid choice, I would say. So the deployment. First of all, I won the roll for side and I cut it that way because I thought the fact that in his big side, big triangle, his like free spoil or easy to grab spoil would be behind and impassable. I thought that would be really interesting, because then if he decide to go strong on the top, then basically I have my big triangle, so to say, so I can put more strength than him. So I think that was a good way of cutting the map. Then he decided to put his tunnel that give me some indication where he might come out. So 1, 2, 3 tunnel. He hesitated by putting one down and then to try to grab this one, but basically the only unit I guess that is scoring is this one, can go under the ground and then ambush again. So that would be the unit with the Doomblade and a lot of bodies to come here, very far from general. I think it's kind of hard for him to be everywhere with this general despite the 18-inch bubble. So what he did do in deployment, one arena beast on each flank, the dictator in the middle. I think that's straightforward. Then he put some big infantry blick in the middle, so you have slaves, black for veterans, Fetis and Fetis on each side of the middle, the Murmillo up top, and then down here the Doomblade within the unit with the drill team that can ambush. And obviously the Stalker when in ambush, so he will have 2 units that can come out of the ambush. My counter deployment. So my thought process was, I want my Death Star to be able to grab a spoil with high certainty. I want it to be quite secure that I would be able to grab one with the Death Star, because I thought if I put the Death Star up top, basically all targets that I'm facing are quite juicy for the Death Star because of the Great Khan multiple wound. So I wasn't too afraid of this unit in a 1 versus 1 battle. The only thing that I needed to avoid is a multiple combat. I put my Frosty as a support piece. I knew that I don't like to close the flank with the Death Star, because basically if he moves 12s here, it could force me to look up, and then it's sometimes hard to still look at the main battle line, but still giving him within my line of sight to avoid him going to my back. So I saw if at some point I do some wounds to him with range damage and he has only like 1-2 wounds left, I could easily use the Frosty, go within 12 and throw some spears, try to finish him off. I saw that was a decent option, and definitely I wanted my Frost to play with the freezing aura around my Merc Vets, because that's the only way the Merc Vets could move up the table, because they would strike before these 2 units, and then I just do so many attacks that it would be really hard for him to engage. Chaff Piece, Tribesman within the general range, because I want a 9 rollable. Bruiser unit, my Bruiser unit with Discipline Banner, Giant, and the Tusker on the bottom. So yeah, I took as bottom as I could within BSB's range, basically to have something really strong here facing the Doomblade and telling him, yeah, either you want to come and you go fight here, and I have some chaff option to delay that fight, but then if you are here down, it means that I was quite confident that if you split in 2, I was going to be okay with all of that to face this unit, because basically I have some chaff option and I have enough strength and attacks to win that top part of the map. And then in the meantime, his Doomblade would mainly get some small units, but not my key unit with the most points. Basically that was a little bit the idea that I had. Let's go for his turn 1. So he didn't push too much. He gave me an 11 Swift Strike charge against the arena, but wanted to go to the flank like I expected. These 2 units didn't move much. He pushed the slave forward, making sure that if the Merc want to charge, I would only get a few models, and then he would be able to get some counter charge off. And he backed, he just moved back with his big Fetis unit to try to give me no charge, because I have some experience against the Fetis, and I know that if the Tusker engage, since he has no binding scroll, I'm almost sure that he would be wounding me on 6 up, which is a big issue, because I do so many attacks with so many rerolls and so on. I was feeling quite confident that I could win this fight, especially when I'm charging. And then he moved his arena to be annoying here on the bottom of the map. I know that it was going to be kind of hard to deal with an arena with only a Giant Strength 5 and then some Bruiser, but I saw the combination of 2 could be a way to try to deal with him. I could at some point maybe sacrifice the Giant to try to get a charge with the Bruiser and hope to win that fight, to win the bottom secondary. And obviously he moved under the ground with his Doomblade unit. Also, this avoids him to get any toxic on his Doomblade, which I found really smart. In Magic Phase, I dispelled Twisted Effigy on the Mercs, and he failed Rot Within. My turn 1. I took a charge, so I had, with my Tusker, a charge on the 9 Swift Stride against that unit. And I checked the possible counter charge. I would be able to give him a front, meaning he would have like 1-2 model touching, which I'm not too scared of, and I would be causing a ton of wounds against that unit. Because one key factor that I didn't tell you about is the fact that he's unstable. Can be to his advantage, or the contrary is also true. Because all the wounds that I will be doing in this unit, that would be additional death. Meaning it's quite likely that I don't go through in 1 round, but in 2 rounds, I think it's quite likely that I do. And if I just buff them, then it will be on his turn that I could get a free pivot and charge. I thought that was a very good opening because I check with a failed charge what I might do, and I might move 5-6 forward and still a long charge for them, the arena like a 6-6 or something. So I felt pretty okay. I took the charge, I failed my 9 Swift Stride. Then I decided to give him a choice. Basically, I tried to open the game, but I completely forgot the fact that he has 2 ambush units that can come out and chaff the Tuskers. But what I wanted to do is put my giant here with no overrun pass and tell him only the Fetis can charge me. And if you charge me, basically you can maybe fail the restraint check, and if you succeed, then I will get the charge off and you cannot come here. But yeah, I forgot about the ambush, which was stupid for me. Reformed these guys to look at the arena just to tell him, if you move forward without caring too much, I could charge you, maybe win that fight. I mean, I have a charge and a standard. You don't have so many attacks, you hit me on 4+, and then I wound you with strength 6. I have a decent chance to do something good. And then up top, didn't move much. The Death Star wanted to keep him in range during the time that I was going to shoot him, because basically my mercs were in a position to move forward, be within the aura that he cannot really engage this combat with any interesting unit. It's only like an 11 for them to engage me, and I'm within the aura. And in the meantime, I could be on the hill and shoot, get some reroll for the charges, and also in the meantime shoot the arena and try to kill him. I wanted to do as soon as I can deal with this arena beast, because when I kill it, then it free up the pass for the Death Star to really push hard forward. So that's the idea, just move slightly my darts and chaff pieces. But yeah, here I think that was way too soon to do that, and also to take that charge, considering the fact that he could come out of the ground to chaff me. In the Magic Phase, I did D6+1 against the arena. I dispelled that one, then I got Trial of Face off, and I did 2 wounds to the arena, which was really nice. And with shooting, I did another 3 wounds with my Merc Vets. Then I tried to shoot with my newly bought Ogre crossbow on the Great Can, but didn't manage to do the last wound. But still, 1 wound remaining on turn 1 is pretty good. His turn 2, so plenty of action. As you can see, he's able now to open the game because he charged me with the Fetis. Comes out of the ground with a 3+ rollable from the Doomblade unit that is going to trap my Tusker. And yeah, considering the big footprint that I have, it's kind of hard to escape. He put himself in a position to give me a front and only 1 model in base contact to make sure that I wouldn't take that charge, basically. The arena with 1 wound remaining come forward to chaff me, which allows his slave to move forward. He tried to get a long charge with these guys against the Merc Vets on an 11-2 dice. I was quite okay with that. Obviously, he would kill a couple of mercs, which is annoying, but I would strike before him. I was able to stand and shoot, kill only 2. But then close combat, it's still more than 30 attack going before him. So I guess obviously it's just for the long run, it's not good for me, because he would just like kill 2 Merc Vets, and then I would kill most of the unit. And then the problem being, I wouldn't have so many Merc Vets left to fight the rest. So I think that was his plan behind this charge. Maybe I could have been slightly more to the far back, but yeah, I think I needed to be that way to mostly get some good line of sight on the arena. I guess that was also the idea, and also to give some front and have range on stuff. He moves his slave forward to basically make sure that the Merc Vets only have long rerollable charges against them and can charge up to here but get really minimized charge, I guess. I don't know if I can even charge in between. I think that charge was maybe impossible, and definitely it was impossible to charge the Fetis here, which was his main point. He didn't pass his 3+ to ambush the Stalker and he made the smart choice to keep them for later, which I guess that was definitely a very good play from him, because he already had activated 2 chaff, so to have another chaff left for the next turn for the Death Star, I think this is a good choice. This arena didn't move much, just moved to the side to, basically look at me and try to cover stuff. He wanted to avoid them, mostly to move out of arc, basically. In his magic phase, and he gave me, I know what he did. He gave me a front charge, but minimized. Only 1 model in base contact, which is a smart choice, because I cannot take that charge with only 1 bruise striking. It's definitely not good enough for me and way too risky with only 3 attack. Magic phase, I guess the black fur charge was like on a 10, not 11, so 10 on 2 dice, but he still failed that one. He got -1 weapon skill on my giant, which I didn't care much. Obviously he would do slightly more wounds, but most likely he wouldn't kill the giant, meaning I would have a flee and a possibility to rally. That was also one of my plans. And he got also Rot Within on my Tusker, which was slightly more annoying, but I had to let that go to dispel Twisted Effigy. Close combat, I did 1 wound to him, he did 3 wounds to me. I fled, he passed the restraint check, and I flee over the impassable and ended up here and loses another wound due to impassable. So not too bad. My turn. So a couple of interesting moves. First of all, I rallied the giant. I took the charge against the arena chaffing me, and I activated my chaff to chaff them. And I don't know if I chaffed them too, but basically what I wanted to avoid is getting these 2 units in a combined charge against them. That was the idea. I was able to find a move which I wouldn't like to have to do on a normal table. Here, quite happy to get all the tools from Warhall, but I was able to reform 2 wide and get a wheel to give a front charge to them and be out of line of sight to the Doomblade. The Doomblade would only have a long charge against them, which I was fine with, and nothing else. So I felt quite happy about that. No way that the arena can charge me against them, because it's a flank. There is no way he was able to contact that. Rally the giant, move them out of arc of the arena, so the arena has also no charge. I felt quite okay. The only thing that I needed to do is to cast a buff on them to make sure they would be okay to take this charge. So I moved my chairman out of the unit. Since he has no range damage, there is no big risk in doing that. To be within 18 to cast hereditary. Move the bruiser out. I even attempted a charge on the 8 on the flank of these guys. I felt I can pin them down, avoid them moving forward, chaffing me, and basically I can be here and still chaff that unit. So I felt it's not bad. I could pick the spot that I want to avoid them trying another long charge against my Merc. So I felt okay about that. And then the position of the Frosty, I wanted to allow the Frost to charge out if I need to. So I checked what type of reform I would do and make sure that the Frost can charge in a straight line, then do the move that I need to. Reform those guys to avoid getting charged, but be ready to chaff if I need to. And then, I guess that was it. Also, what I forgot to mention is the turn 1 charge that I tried to take. What I like about this situation was the fact that if I would have made that charge, I was feeling confident that I would be able to hold against these guys with a spell on them, and then I could have marched a small dart on the objective, try to get it. So I felt that was quite interesting for me. Just magic phase. And I decided not to take any charge with the Merc Vet. Basically, I check what type of charge he could do. It's kind of minimized, hard for him to get all the attack. These guys were still quite far away, and I wanted to get a good round of shooting against the Dictator, try to put some pressure on him. I feel if the dice get hot, it can get very scary for him to get both the magic missiles plus the shooting, and then if he loses that guy, can be huge. So magic phase, he dispelled hereditary on the Tusker, and then I got lucky because I got the random smite on them and I got -1 strength, which is the one I wanted. I hadn't enough dice to get the targeted one, so obviously it wouldn't have been so fun without with the -1. Resilience is less good, so I was quite happy with that. To get -1 strength. Shooting, I did only 1 wound on the Dictator with my poison shot, which is disappointing. And then close combat, yeah, what I really wanted to do, I wasn't able to kill him with impacted, but then I was able to strike before with the Trisman and do the last wound to avoid him striking with the arena against my Great Khan and do some wounds that could hurt my game plan for the later turns, basically. His turn. So it charges me with the Fetis to try to pin me down, basically, and then prepare a counter charge, deciding that it doesn't need the Doomblade in this part of the map anymore and move the Doomblade out to be in this unit. I think that was a good choice, but at the same time, I wasn't too stressed because, like you can see, I have 2 chaff pieces ready to chaff him for another 2 turns, meaning turn 4 and 5, so then he can only do something maybe turn 6, and during this time I think I have enough time to deal with most of the stuff and try and also give me the option to snipe him at least 2 or 3 times, which could be enough in combination with the toxic hits. He charged my chaff, ambush on a 3-up rerollable, that was really important, on the Stalker to chaff my Death Star, and put the Slave to chaff my Merc Vets, which makes sense. I think he attempted a short charge with the Fetis against my Mervets, wanted to pin me down. Again, I would strike before. I stand and shoot, did an enormous amount of poison and wounds. I did 6 wounds, killed 2 model. So then only with 7 remaining, I think I can hurt him badly because I go before him with the Frosty. So I wasn't too afraid of that, but he failed the charge. I don't know if that was good or bad for him, to be honest with you. I guess I have a decent chance of wiping him in one go and then be able to post-combat pivot and do stuff. So I'm not sure this charge was so good for him to take. Because as you can see, I have then plenty of options to say, let's charge this in the back and chaff this to save my Tusker. I have plenty of options. So I'm not sure it was so bad for him to fail that charge, to be honest with you. So he failed that charge, chaff me, move the Doomblade unit. Yeah, move the Doomblade unit on the... So, yeah, he moved this turn. Yeah, the Doomblade moved this turn, exactly. So he moved the unit on the token and moved the Doomblade within the unit to try to get some advantage on the token. And put these guys within 12 of them to give them a ward save, 5-up. Move the arena to threaten me, my giant and stuff, and make sure that I cannot charge him with the bruiser. So, yeah, good use of the fact that we are same size. He can hide behind me. Well done. Magic face. So I Binding Scroll End of Glory. So, yeah, I don't want him to get too many buffs in this combat, and that's the worst one for me. Then he got Rot Within on my Death Star, which I didn't care too much. I can take it 1 time. 2 times it's a bit annoying because then it would make my Great Khan hit him on 4+, which I don't want to. But 1 time I can accept that. And then I Dispel Twisted Effigy because I would get another turn of shooting on him, which I liked. Shooting, he did 3 wounds to my Merc with the Stalker. Didn't expect that, but that's nice for him. And then close combat, yeah. I mean, Tuskers, he was debuffed. I have my banner. I did 10 wounds to him, doing quite well, I have to admit. And he did only 1 wound to me, because wounding me on 6-up is not easy. He was hitting on 3+ and wounding on 6-up. So I win by 9. So he crumble a bit, but reduces the crumble thanks to the rules of the Dictator and loses only another 6 wounds. So quite happy, but still... I'm completely blocked by the Impassable and the position of this unit. He did that really well. There is no way I can reform anything better than that. So slightly annoying. And then he killed my dog and reform in a way to avoid the overrun if my Death Star charge. My turn 3. So I decide to charge a chaff with the Frost Mammoth because I'm able to move out of his arc with my Trifling unit to go on the token. Again, another move that I wouldn't like to do in the normal table because it wasn't easy, but move 3 wide, get the right angle, move forward, do the wheel, be on the secondary, and at the same time be chargeable only by the Murmillo unit, which was important for me. Again, I knew that the Frosty could die, but I felt I have an overrun on 11, and if I do anything less, I would still chaff this unit, chaff this one, maybe not, but I felt that would create a good opening. Obviously, I would be happy to trade the Frost Mammoth against these 2 units, so I was feeling okay with that. Here I made debatable choices, decided not to charge the Slave, to shoot again at the Dictator. I felt quite confident that I could do more wounds and force him to really move back out of the game at all. So I wanted to try another turn shooting at him, and then I use one of my bruiser unit to chaff this Doomblade unit, making sure that the Doomblade cannot come out and charge something alone. Move my Shaman to the side, try to block the charge or make difficult the charge, because basically if I lose another 2 wounds to this unit, I would be able to reform 3 wide and respect the inch, but I need to lose another 2 wounds, and then I'm not sure I can get any charge at all if I lose a model and reform 3 forward, not sure, or maybe I can give him like a front charge or something, but I try my best to try to block him. So put the Shaman to the side within 18 to try to snipe the Doomblade, because this is an important factor of the game. And then I decided to use my Giant as chaff for the arena. I lost already 4 wounds. The arena has only 2d3 plus 2, I guess, attacks, or 2d3, not sure about that, but hitting me on 4s. So I felt if you don't do 3 wounds, then I have like 10 attacks, something crazy, 11 attacks, 12 attacks, a good amount of attacks, so I could even win the combat, and if I don't, basically I give me a counter charge option with the bruisers. I felt this is not bad. And yeah, that was it. Just move back with this unit, make sure that if he charged me, no overrun into anything, and that's it. Magic phase. I tried to get Hereditary on my Tusker unit, really wanted to help them for the next stage, but he dispelled that. And then Smite the Unbeliever, unfortunately I failed the spell. So yeah, a bit unhappy with that, because now it's not the same. Obviously he has less model attacking because he lost many of them, so I was feeling okay, but I would have liked another buff to help me a bit. But then in exchange for that slight lack of luck, I was able to snipe and one-shot the Doomblade. That was fortunate for me. It's huge in the matchup. Deal with the Doomblade with the single snipe, it was really huge. Shooting, I did 2 wounds to the Dictator, so still he has like 4 left, which is disappointing. And then the Tusker combat, I did 3 wounds to him. Unfortunately, he did only 1 wound to me, which is annoying, because it would have given me more option to do stuff. Now I'm completely blocked, and he can basically... so he couldn't go straight and charge here because of the Shaman, but what he could do is wheel to impact here on the second model, which is I would need to check again. I don't know if I would have been able to avoid completely by losing a model, but the fact that he underperformed was in this case annoying for me. And obviously the Frosty dealt easily with this model, and then I tried the overrun, got a 10, so I just stopped in front of them, but then I was chaffing pretty much everybody, which I felt, yeah, I might lose the Frosty, but I'm pretty sure that the Death Star will start to eat some interesting stuff. He's turn 4, so he double charged my Frost Mammoth. I hold. Yeah, uses in a good way the Slave to shield his Vermin Demon, because basically I cannot move within 1, and then I cannot be within 24, so I cannot shoot him anymore. Well done. Charge my Chaff Piece, I hold, and then he counter charge the Tusker in the flank, which might hurt because it's so many combat rests, but still, I felt he shouldn't do too much, but I forgot about the Drill Team. That is really good. I mean, 3 grind, strength 6, something like that. So it's definitely not bad. The arena charged my Giant, and that's it. In the magic phase, he got Twisted Effigy on my Mage, which is a bit annoying, but I didn't care too much. I dispel Rot Within, I dispel -2 weapon skill. And the Tusker against the Fetis, this time, despite the fact that he has not so many models left, he rolled really good, and he did 9 wounds to my Tusker total. So he did like 3 wounds with the grinding, and then another 6 wounds between all these strength 3 attack and strength 4 attack. Not so many of them, and he did just a lot. So I had like 1 model left. I did like nothing in return, almost, not much, I guess. Like I killed 1 model. Auto break, obviously. He decided to pursue down, and he got off the board on a roll of 4 with them already, and this guy just caught me and stopped within one of the building. So a bit unhappy with that, but I knew I was trapped, I didn't play good, and I was punished for that, so nothing to complain about. Arena against the Giant, and what I wanted to happen happened. Basically, he fluffed a bit, did only like 1 wound to me. I had like a 10 attack back, and I did like... How much? Did I write this down? I did 3 wounds to him, he did 1 wound to me, so he loses. He failed his check and fled. I failed my restraint check, which I would have really liked to pass because I had some good charge option on the Fetis that are only 3 model left. But yeah, didn't pass that, so I had to pursue and I didn't catch him. So he fled over the impassable and I'm stuck on the impassable. And he just one-shot my Frosty and decided to overrun with them because he didn't fell. He had like on a 11, I guess he could impact them, which was what he tried to do, and he didn't think that it could give me some opportunities on them. We will see what could happen, and he reformed them to chaff my Desta. So I picked the token. We are 1-1 on the secondary, charge with the Desta against his Murmillo. And then I charge this time the slaves, thinking if I kill a lot of them, I could possibly overrun to his flank, which I liked. I chaff another time the big unit because I don't have time to deal with all these units at once. Rally my bruiser unit that could be ready to chaff another turn if needed. Move my shaman a bit to be ready to try to finish off either arena or put some pressure on Vermin Demon. Still have 3 turns of magic left, some shooting maybe left, so I could maybe deal with him. And then I try a play on the secondary by putting my giant on a minimize charge from them, so these guys are out of the table. He could charge me with 3 fetis. This is the champion. He has 4 attack. He needs to do 2 wounds, hitting on 4s, wounding on 5s. I felt okay with that, and then I put my bruises on the token, ready to counter charge. I felt I have maybe there is a world where I can win that combat, grab some secondary, move away, chaff him. I don't know, we'll see. I'm not 100% sure I want to grab it, but at least I give me the option. Magic Face. I got Hereditary off on the Mercenary, just wanted to avoid any wounds. I felt if I'm stuck in combat, I knew that to not give him a flank, I will need to basically extend the frontage of my unit, and with Hereditary off, I felt okay to fight these guys. And what else did I get? That's it. Close combat. He tries to go for the Great Khan. I think this is a right choice, so he goes with all 4 models against Great Khan. I ward save a couple, and he did 3 wounds to me, which was kind of scary, but then the Great Khan did deliver and kill some of them. He was in auto break, I guess. I led him. No, I did. I think we resolved that one first. And I just did so many wounds to the slave. I wiped them in one go. He fled. I pursue. And I pursue to his flank. So after that, I felt I don't need the Death Star to reform towards the bottom. I can pursue to try to take them. And I pursue and catch them. So yeah, huge turn of event. I've dealt with the top of the map. So it will be interesting to see what happens in the remaining turns. His turn 5. He try his luck, basically charge a giant. This guy comes back on the board. Here you can see what happened. Here I'm in his flank, and he charged again with the big unit against my guys. Move the Dictator to try to maybe do some support. Rally, luckily for him, he was able to rally the arena, which I wasn't too happy about, but nothing I could do. And Magic Face, he got Rot Within on the giant to 4 attack. Instead of hitting on 4, it would be hitting on 3+. I had to let that go. He had another spell that could do pretty much the same, so I felt I have to let that go. It's still only 4 attack, still need to wound on 5+. I should be fine, but yeah, it's close. He failed the ward save spell, and then basically the Fetis here auto broke. I decided to restrain and reform, look that way. He broke them, restrain, look that way. I had like 1 model left on 1 wound, something like that. He rolled well. And here, yeah, got punished. So he 4 attack, he killed the 2 remaining wound of the giant, killed me. And I think I failed panic on them, 8 rerollable, and fled away like that. So yeah. Just lost any opportunities to get that run. So I know that I have to take away from them, basically. My turn 5. So yeah, Mercvets charge against the big block. And then I charge also with a Bruiser Dart. Try to add some attacks. Pushes my Death Star towards the bottom to basically making sure I will get that unit no matter what happens in the next stage. My Shaman is looking that way. Didn't rally him on a 4 rollable, so continue to flee. My Shaman is in position to try to continue to do some damage on the demon. These guys rallied, but yeah, they are lost basically. And let's move on to magic. I got Hereditary off on the Mercvets. I tried to put -1 strength on him, but he dispelled that one. And then I got d6+1 against the Vermin Demon, started to feel excited, but I rolled a 1 and a 1. So 2 hits, strength 2, did nothing. Close combat, I wipe him in one go, because basically I kill. You have to think it's like 27 attack. So first of all, it's d3 plus 7 impact hits on 2+, plus 1 impact hits on 3+, on 2+ again. And then it's like 27 attacks on 3+2+, plus 6 attack, plus 5 stomps. So all of that, I kill like more than 4 ranks. I kill 4.5 ranks. So like 7, 28, 30 something wounds. So crazy total. He did like 3, I guess, to me. So not much. And basically, yeah, he popped because he wasn't stable within range. So he just popped, basically. So that was, yeah, just crazy how much wounds I did. But I have so many attacks. It's, if I roll not too bad on hitting, and within these attacks there are a lot of poison. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I just deal with him. He had to let go secondary, and this is huge. His turn 6. Just hide the dictator, charge my guys. I hold, can't do anything with them. I don't know about. I think he got. Did he get the ward save buff on them? I guess. Close combat, he will just break me, run me down, and then my last turn I will just finish the arena and we stop here. So this ended up being a 14-6, which moves to a 13-7 thanks to Spoil of War. That is in my favor because I have 1 and he has none. Post-game analysis. I think that was the right choice to put some space between the Tribe Star and the Tusker. But my deployment wasn't optimal, and I will show you after what I should have done. I wasn't strong enough on the bottom Spoil of War. That should have been mine because it's hard for him to get it due to the position of the Impassable. And I think I could have played this one better, be stronger on this one, because basically trying to win against an arena with only a giant and 3 bruiser, it's, yeah, kind of optimistic. What I tried to do with my giant, basically to open the game, was too soon. I should have waited for the ambusher, and I think this is a key lesson for everybody who is going to face the tunnel list of Vermin Swamp that can basically ambush unit and chaff towards the middle of the board. I think before doing too many opening moves, basically make sure to see what he does with the ambush, to watch what he might chaff or not chaff before taking any charges. And also the movement of the giant was just way too soon, considering the fact that he could easily chaff me. At least all my bad play with the Tuskers and giant and stuff, at least it forced him to put the Doomblade down, and it occupied the Doomblade and some of his units, and during this time I was able to get some advantage on the top part of the map. Merc Vets, yeah, I was a bit too eager to take some shots against the Dictator, but I think what I should have done is just charge the slave turn 3, because basically if he doesn't do the mistake of overrunning with the Fetis, he thought with the overrun, we had a bit of discussion about that, he thought by overrunning that since the straight line would be hitting the front, he forgot the fact that it's a new charge, so I can wheel and charge him in the flank, because it was a flank due to the angle. So he forgot that was a flank charge, he thought it would be a front charge. So if he wouldn't have overrun, it would have been the right choice. Basically, I would have been possibly in trouble, because then his Fetis would have charged the Merc, which is not the same than the Merc overrunning into his flank. So what I should have done instead is just taking advantage of the chaff done by my Frost Mammoth, and then basically charge the slave turn 3 and try to get rid of them on 1 turn sooner. I think that would have been way better for me. Yeah, my 3 key unit having so many attacks, I think it's an issue for Vermin Swarm, because if we get, like I was able to get in this battle, a lot of 1 versus 1 combat, basically, it's very hard for him to win those, because I have so many attacks. We saw what the Merc Vets can do. I mean, they wipe in one go, the slaves wipe in one go, the big unit, the 40-ish unit of Black Fur. So I have so many attacks that it can be very dangerous for the VS. The Doomblade, I think, yeah, it's a small mistake, but with a lot of consequences, because it took him so much time to deal with the Tuskers, where he could have just angled a bit more, allow me maybe to get 2 models in contact instead of 1. Still would have charged that, I don't know. and basically then he would have make sure that he deals with the Tusker more easily, because allowing me to move out of the arc that way and be annoying for the Fetis, I think that was something he could have avoided easily. And like I said, yeah, the Fetis shouldn't have overrun, but he didn't know exactly that I would impact his flank, and I think this is this is kind of huge, because I don't get so many attacks against me and I get to attack with everybody. Deployment, so I tried to redeploy and paste. You can see I cut the picture and paste it over. It's not the exact same scale, but you see the idea basically. I think I should have put my stomping monsters towards the middle to have some answers against this infantry, but because he felt way too comfortable by moving in the middle, should have put my Tusker way more down to be facing this one, and just basically making sure that if he takes this unit out of the battle, to put it elsewhere. Basically, it's first of all, it's further away. I don't know if you can check that, but you can see where this last tunnel is. It's making sure that it's impossible to chaff me with the tunnel. First point. And then basically making sure that, yeah, if he doesn't leave the Doomblade to hunt me down here, I would be able to get this one, because there is no way the arena would stop me. The only key thing is I would need my character out of the unit, and mainly the BSB. I show you here the 18-inch range, because there is a huge risk while the arena is alive that they can charge me and force me on a terror check, and at least I want a BSB reroll on that. So I couldn't be too much aggressive to push really hard and do stuff out of the bubble, but still that would have been a huge issue for him and make me think twice. If he wants to redeploy by ambushing and coming here up top, then he would be very depleted to go here on the bottom of the map. And still, with that position of the Frosty, I would be able to profit from the aura on the Merc Vet, which is something I want. I don't need it all the time on them, because basically I paid for enough tribesmen to be ready to take some casualties. So I think that would have been better. And also by putting the Tuskers down, this would allow me to have another chaff piece. One more maybe on the top to have even more time to deal with him. So I think that would have been better as a deployment overall. So a couple of good learnings. I struggle a bit. Should I put the Death Star here and try to close the top with the Merc Vet shooting? But I still think the Merc are better here, and because the Tribe Star is more able to get this automatic spoil more or less, because I know that I'm at some point I should be able to grab it. If the Doomblade doesn't come off here, I should be able to grab it, which I think is kind of important to put pressure and making sure that if he comes here with the Doomblade, I can still move out with the Great Khan, chaff him, win some time, and then get some other token on the map basically. So I think that's what I should have done, but yeah, a couple of adjustments. So thanks a lot guys for watching. I hope it was entertaining for you. I think it was an interesting battle, at least for me to play, and also for my opponent. It was fast paced, which I love, because as you saw, quite a couple of technical moves that we had to do. So not an easy game, and what shouldn't be too much of a fast game, but still we were able to play it almost, I think, slightly more than 3 hours, but not much. So it was really cool to be able to play such a game with plenty of action in such a short span of time. So quite happy to play this type of training that are interesting, quite technical. We played it, I think we tried to do our best to play it interestingly, and we had plenty, there was plenty of action from the turn 1 more or less. So it was quite cool to see that and to really try out the matchup and see how it goes. So plenty of learnings for me on the tunnel and the Doomblade and stuff, which was exactly what I wanted to have in this battle. So this is great. Thanks a lot again to Scrack for playing this battle against me. It was really a pleasure to face him, and talk to you soon on the channel. Bye bye guys.